This is the Discover St. Lucia Tourism News and Weather.
Are you ready for approach? We'd like to make 3 passes down the beach from Western and then land.
With the growth of the tourism industry, St. Lucia continues to experience increasing pressures on its popular beaches, with increasing incidents of loss of life, particularly among the resident population. The reality of the insufficient action to protect sea bathers is a growing concern.
But this example here of this tower is what people would assume that is a lifeguard tower. That's what it was designed for. So it's giving people false expectations. These guys who've come off the cruise ships or wherever would think there's a lifeguard on duty and would actually lower their probably surveillance on their own children, their families, thinking, well, someone else is watching my children. However, there has never been a lifeguard on that tower since I've come to St. Lucia. Maybe you know differently. The other thing is that Jan's just pointing out now, if there was a lifeguard, and we've made this point before, the steps are facing the wrong way. You spot someone drowning, you have to turn your back to then get down and then turn around and they've gone. What you want is that the other way around, so you walk down the steps keeping your eye on the potential drowning victim. So again, probably better to remove that unless they had lifeguards. So just a very simple point, but it's probably because it looks good for the hotel. It looks kind of how it should look in terms of beaches and safety, but they're missing the most vital part, which is the human part.
As increasing pressures on the natural resources from a growing population eager for more access to recreation, particularly at the island's beaches, there is an urgent need to take a closer look at safety. Over the past year, some popular beaches on the island have seen the erection of lifeguard towers. However, none of those facilities are manned with lifeguards.
Whilst we're here at the same time, a separate issue is linked to this development in the beach environment and the enforcement of is that the natural beach line is way back beyond the wrecks. The natural beach position does not want to follow where we have that restaurant. So this is a good example also of two things. Firstly, regulation of the Queen's Chain and development control on the beach, but also when we are looking at the width of this beach, and this is being sold as the main tourist beach in St. Lucia, with climate change, with increased sea level rise, you only have to look up there. You've got about 10 meters of beach. And the whole issue of development on this natural resource is kind of outside of the beach standard, but it's so critical to its overall development that these issues have got to be addressed, and they've got to be addressed quick, because two things: sea level rise is happening, climate change is happening, beach width will be reducing. So all the activities taking place on this beach are going to be squeezed into a much smaller area. So the carrying capacity of Redwood Beach is at risk from today onwards.
As the island becomes even more dependent on the tourism industry for economic survival, the authorities will find that the issues of safety and well-being are an integral part of the tourism product.
Another good example we were talking about earlier on is about zoning, about putting different activities in different areas so you don't have those conflicts and potential hazards. So here they've got a really good swim zone. However, you may notice there's no one in the swim zone. However, outside the swim zone, that's where people are swimming. And this is on a quiet day. So good idea, but poorly executed in terms of where it's located. People are not going to walk out the hotel and go too far that way or that way. The sunbeds are in front of the hotel, and that's where you'll swim. But also, there's nothing to tell anybody that's a swim zone. I know that's a swim zone. Maybe you know it's a swim zone, but these guys here have come off the boats or in the hotels. They've no idea what that is. They might think that's a restricted area for fishing or snorkeling or something. So it should have some clear information on the signs, because there are no signs, but if there were signs, that's exactly the sort of information it'd be telling their customers, swim in the zone, because actually you're so safe in that area that nothing can get in there that's got an engine on it. However, this boat here that I think sells fruit or something is coming in now amongst the swimmers where these potential issues happen.